Video games are essentially creative blank checks, where almost any concept, no matter how zany, can work. LocoCycle embraces that idea with a rare abandon. In a vacuum, the fact that you're controlling a sentient motorcycle with poor Pablo here inexplicably and irreversibly stuck to its tailpipe might seem impossibly strange, but mere minutes into the accompanying short film, it becomes clear that you left Kansas back at the start menu. Its short-circuit-esque plot is often funny, and its mix of different gameplay types can be entertaining in spots, but both suffer from a pervasive lack of consistency and cohesion that ultimately derails what could have been a delightfully crazy train.
We must learn to enjoy the journey as much as the destination.
At the surface level, LocoCycle mixes equal parts arcadey driving, shooting, and brawling, but each of its 17 levels contextualizes these actions in a slew of different ways. You might be racing to bust through a nearby roadblock, or tossing poor Pablo out to intercept a wing of rocket sled riding bombers. You're never stuck doing the same thing for long, and as you progress through the 3 to 4 hour long story mode, you'll be regularly treated to new locations and scenery. But while the variety of gameplay types is nice, not every encounter is created equal, and when they do start repeating, it's with too little variance. This big science ball battle was exactly the same in the later levels as it was when it was initially introduced. This would be less of an issue if so many of them didn't become rote after completing them the first time, but when certain sequences boil mostly down to mashing a single button without any regard for timing, things get monotonous quickly. It also doesn't help that both the camera and controls have a way of shifting from battle to battle, changing how Iris handles and what combat options are available. At best, she feels like one of the nimble Generation 2 Transformer bikes that likely inspired her look, but just as often she feels either too squirrely or too sluggish to get into a groove with. And for every section that worked, like this Thunderblade-style top-down shooting sequence, there's at least one like this poorly executed Street Fighter clone. What's worse, all these disparate parts are strung together haphazardly without any sense of progressive challenge. Some levels went on for what felt like forever, only to unceremoniously end with an anticlimactic sequence all too similar to what had come before it. These wonderfully campy live-action interludes quickly establish a tone of absurdity that frees developer Twisted Pixel up to do just about anything, from explosive midget tossing to grilled cheese sandwiches?
Alright everybody, let's party! Grilled cheese sandwiches! Yeah!
There's an unhinged sort of imagination driving things forward at all times, and even when LocoCycle makes mistakes, which it does so regularly, its spirit of silliness kept a smile on my face. Whether you're playing or watching, LocoCycle aspires to present itself like a movie, and in this regard, it mostly succeeds. Though the graphics are underwhelming for an Xbox One game, the sound design is uniformly excellent, and slick camera transitions between QuickTime events and real-time gameplay sell the summer popcorn flick vibe. The 90s were probably the last time when sentient robotic motorcycles could possibly have been cool, and LocoCycle pays a humorous homage to the era with a lot of clever movie references.
Have you seen the motion picture Weekend at Bernie's?
¿Cómo es posible que estoy vivo?
I agree. I also thought it lacked the charm and finesse of the first film.
Lisa Foyles threads a needle between Johnny Five and GLaDOS with her performance as Iris.
Pablo, have you ever watched the motion picture Ski School, starring some actors?
And Robert Patrick hams it up as Spike, who plays car to her kid.
Iris, your open road can only lead to 2 possible destinations. 1, to our creators, where you will beg their forgiveness.
And 2,
2, the junkyard.
Both of them sound like they're having a blast, particularly Foyles, whose energetic quips carry the proceedings. Where LocoCycle gets into some trouble is with Pablo, Iris's Spanish-speaking mechanic. While the story manages to contextualize why he doesn't speak English, and why Iris can't speak Spanish, he still winds up being a one-note character who simply begs for his life from beginning to end. There's undercurrents of political satire, but just when you think LocoCycle is trying to say something, it makes a taco reference or a mental health joke. Given Twisted Pixel's track record, I want to believe there's a message here, but I couldn't quite shake the feeling that Pablo was there to be laughed at, and that made me feel more than just a little uncomfortable.
Por favor! Soy inocente! Soy de gente!
If nothing else, LocoCycle earns its name. It's got not 1 but 2 sentient motorcycles and buckets full of Loco. I imagine I'll forget what LocoCycle plays like long before I forget its unapologetically zany live-action bits and its questionable treatment of Pablo. Its inconsistent gameplay becomes tedious despite its imaginative variety, and its levels lack cohesion or a sense of momentum. Like the cheesy 90s films it apes, LocoCycle is memorable, but not quite good. For more on LocoCycle and the rest of the Xbox One launch lineup, keep it tuned to IGN.
I clearly picked the wrong human. Though I will admit this sweet corn and black raspberry buttermilk ice cream cone is delicious.
It's one of my super favorites.